I am bringing to you, I got a couple dings there, so I was making sure that I was still live. Yeah, I'm still live. So I'm bringing to you today a program from She, Self-Help Energies for Personal Development, and all about energy and shifting your energy and learning more about law of attraction and learning how to live a better life more successfully. And I love, love, love that you're here for the broadcast because it helps me, and I feel then that I can create more broadcasts that feed my soul, and I'm sure it's going to feed yours. So today's topic is about make this summer the one where you learn how to spread your wings and take to the fly. Take to the sky. Woohoo! Yes. So I'm broadcasting here in my art studio where I teach art classes. If you're wondering if you haven't tuned in to me before, and if you see art things around, that's because that's where I'm at. Now, before I go on with today's broadcast, I wanted to share with you some of the learnings from the last broadcast. And the last broadcasts were about how to get out of a trap. So some people feel like they're just too old, they're too young, they're too dumb, they're, just cannot get out of the trap of any of these things. But guess what? Life happens outside of the trap. It really, really does. Now, I have these broadcasts all on my internet site and sandralongmore.com. And they're also on iTunes, so you could go on iTunes and get any of them, the last three, which were about the trap, or any of the others, because they're all uplifting and will help you in your life. But for the last three broadcasts, I talked about three different traps. The first one being just what if you just live a so ho-hum life? It's just so. Oh dear. Some of my students, even though they're very, very young, I had a 14-year-old girl in here today, down in the dumps, and it's such a trap to carry on that kind of energy and feel that way about her life. She's going to go on an exciting trip this summer to Korea. And I said, well, what are you going to do? And she goes, oh, I don't know. I've just done it all. I mean, my goodness, I said, look for discovery, look for fun, look for something that's going to bring new life to you. And she did perk up a little bit later. But, that's a case of just feeling like there's nothing left. Good golly. Or maybe when you get out of bed, you feel like that. Good golly. Figure out how to get out of the trap. And I think, like I said in those in the last three broadcasts, is the worst. They're all bad, but one of the most sneaky ones is when you just feel like your life is just okay. It's just okay. So. And but that's like a silent killer. It's a silent killer because you think, oh, it's all right. I'm going to eat today. I'm going to sleep today. And, I'm going to watch TV today or whatever. I'm going to go to work today. It's like just muck. It's just like slow-mo. So that's the silent killer. You don't want to be in that trap whatsoever. Then the second way of a trap is called it's not the severe way, but it's like it's getting your attention. So you're thinking, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I want out of this trap of feeling this way, of thinking this way. I really want things to change. Well, in that broadcast, I called it Catch the Cannonball Express, and I gave you a lot of ways to get out of that trap. And then the last broadcast I did, which was the one right before this one, was called the severe stage. And that's where you're on the razor's edge, where it just does not feel good at all. You're on the razor's edge and you can't stand it anymore. You got this horrible feeling and your mouth tastes terrible and you just want to get off that razor's edge. And that is a really good trap because you're not going to stay there very long. Most people don't last too long when they're standing on the razor's edge. And so I shared with you different ideas of how to get out of those traps. And the first thing is just become aware. Be aware of what trap you're in if you want to label it, but that takes a lot of time. If you're just not feeling good, if you want better, more in your life, then realize that you are in a trap and then that you want out of it. Because you know what? Life does not happen in the trap. Life, discovery, expectation, energy, life happens out of the trap. It does. It's out of the trap. So get your body out of that trap. So I shared with you lots of tools and inspiration of how to do that. But the main thing is just get out of the darn trap. Get out of the darn trap in the first place. Whining, bargaining, thinking that your mother did things that never supported you, thinking that your father is never loved you, thinking that you have a childhood that's just unfortunate for you and that makes you what you are today is a trap. No amount of whining or bargaining or thinking you are less than is going to get you out of the trap, because that it makes you a victim. And victims, as you know, the victim is the one that gets punched in the nose. That is the way of the law of attraction. Law of attraction is the matcher of energy. So what you want to do is shift your energy so that you have an even playing field and things get better in your life, because law of attraction is going to match what you're thinking. Your thoughts create your results. Yeah, on and on. Your thoughts create your results, and on and on. So it's pretty obvious, yep, get out of the trap. And one of the ways is you can become aware, you can figure out maybe how to have better feeling thoughts. You can look at other people who are in traps and got themselves out of it, like Nelson Mandela. Look at him. He not only was in the worst trap in the world, he was in jail. He not only survived that, but he thrived once he got out of that trap. So it's just not fun being in the trap. Another thing you can do is read good books, listen to good TV programs, find friends that uplift you, listen to tapes that uplift you, and most of all, do not listen to the don'ts, nots, musts, impossible, because it isn't impossible. Anything that you want to create, you can. You just have to have the matching vibration. And that, as I said before, takes practice. Takes practice. I practice all the time. All the time. I'm the best practicer there ever was. So now let's get on to the broadcast today, which is all about spring and learning how to fly. Yeah. Did you know that you can? Did you know you still have those wings to fly? Well, you do. You do. Now, did you notice? Maybe you never even noticed it was spring. Did you notice the birds are chirping? That there are beautiful breezes coming? And that you might be taking long walks in the dusk of day, and it's a beautiful sunset. All those things are spring. You know, there's nothing that gets you going in your memories like a smell. So do you remember the smell of spring? It smells so sweet and beautiful. So when I smell, I think about my childhood memories. And because I practice law of attraction, the good childhood memories come forward. And then that makes more good memories, more good memories, more good memories. But I remember things like going to summer camp, and I remember things like camping in our backyard. Now, every year my dad used to put up this great big tent. It was so huge, and it was heavy, made out of canvas. And he would put that up, and then we kids got to sleep in it. And it was so exciting. We'd get our blankets and everything, and we'd go in there and we'd sleep. And then it was like, we were away from the house, although the house was just like 10 feet away, but we were away from the house, and it felt so good. Such a good memory. You see, by thinking those good memories, I'm attracting more good memories. So you are connected to things where you can make those good memories. One of the easiest things to connect to is nature and the seasons. So you're connected to the energies of the weather. You can't help but not be. And that connection alone can help you with your sense of wholeness and balance, especially when you're in the second act or the second half of life. Now, I am among the many that can claim they're in the second half. And actually, summer is when I was born. Summer of 1942. The summer of 1942. I think there was a movie about that once. So in 1942, I was born. If you want to do the math, that makes me 72 years old. And you may have been born a lot different. Maybe at 40, you're 40 now, or you're 50, but you're still thinking about the second stage of life and what it's going to be like. But know that as nature changes, the seasons, you have changed too. And one of the ways to keep on top of your game at any age is to get this common denominator. Now, the common denominator is something I'm going to explore right now. So June is the first of spring, is the perfect time for new projects, for fulfilling the promises you made in the last months of the year. So June is when you don't feel there's a fading. There's this new growth coming forward. But what if you might feel you are fading as you age? Well, when you look in the mirror, do you see yourself not in the June of life, but not new beginnings, but maybe you see some fading things? Quite different. What do you see? Well, just take a minute and take a piece of paper and write down what you see. Write down what you see. And see at the end of this broadcast, on that same piece of paper, maybe just put a line down the middle of it and put the things you see right now. And then at the end of the broadcast, put down the things that you see now, because you have the ability to change your point of perspective at any time in your life. In a moment's notice, you can change your point of perspective. So the idea of life being over or that you look different is just a trap, and it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you get any goals, any pleasure out of life, any enjoyment, and you've learned it. I mean, you've earned it. You've learned it and you've earned it. You've earned it. You have a history right now, and you have earned pleasure. But to get back to maybe not feeling alone about your feelings is, yeah, there's reasons that you might not feel like you have really earned it. And those reasons are usually on the TV. You can look at any program, any commercial, and you can see that life, the fun of life is usually 20s and 30s. When you're in the 20s and 30s, you see people having fun. And that's, they're dancing around or whatever. And that's because the advertisers that's their target market, they can sell them things. And then those of us who are in the second half of life, we get to have a little fun too if we take a certain product, ingest it, if we take a certain pill. Now that may be true. You may need that certain pill. But what I want you to know that you are being exploited also from enjoying your life right now as it is, whether you take the pill or whether you don't take the pill, it really doesn't matter. What you are missing, what you may be missing, or somebody you know may be missing, is that life is happening right now. And to enjoy who you are right now in this very powerful moment is where it's at. And that's what I want to address in this broadcast. I want to show you that common denominator of making right now in this powerful moment the best moment ever, or keeping this summer as the best powerful moment ever. So if you want to find yourself, if you find yourself in the second half of life, some of the things you can do to change your attitude, your point of perspective, so you magnetize more of good things in your life and less of the bad things, is number one, enjoy yourself doing the things you always wanted to do. Make a bucket list. Put the things on there that you always wanted to do, and then check them off as you accomplish them. The second thing is just to create things anew. Create your dreams anew. Create your point of perspective anew. Look at what you always wanted to do but couldn't. Maybe it's a new career. I actually started this career of teaching art and life coaching and a trainer of law of attraction. I started all that at about 68. So, you can do that too. Do what you always wanted to do. And it's amazing how all these things have opened up a whole new life for me. And at this stage of the second half of life, you have a little extra income. Yeah, you have an extra income from retirement or from Social Security to do the things that you want to do. Now, maybe you're just right on the borderline of that, but save a little money. Save the money that you to treat yourself. Treat yourself and find the things you want to do. They really don't cost a lot of money. And some of them do. Save up for those and have those too. So when you do things you want to do, it brings beautiful, beautiful shifts in energy. And the last thing on this list is to just be optimistic. Avoid any negative thoughts. You don't have to figure out what happened in the past. You can live right now in this powerful moment. Just walk out the door today and take that deep breath of the spring of your life. You are at the spring of your life. And smile. Yes, smile a lot. In yoga class, we have lots of different difficult postures like this where we wind all up and are very, very twisted and everything. And my yoga teacher says, smile. That smiling gives you a health benefits, and it's true. It just gives you this kind of sense of ease, of easing into where you're at the ragged edge of your yoga posture or at your ragged edge of that trap of standing on a razor blade. It gives you an ease to ease into that next thing. Life becomes at the edges. Life starts at the edges where you go to where you think your edge is, and then you go a little bit beyond. Stretch a little bit beyond. So smile. Smile a lot. Now, this is the best summer ever. This is the best time of life because you are the main character in your life story. And your story at this point is your yardstick of aging. So find your common denominator and look for ways to love who you are. Take a chance on the future. It's going to come. The future's going to come just like every summer comes. Okay, Sandra, at this point you might be saying, what is this all about anyway? Well, today's broadcast was about finding your personal value no matter what age you are. You are so unique, living a life so unique that there's nothing like you on this planet. Life is just too full of fun things to love and to embrace and to kiss tenderly. Life is too full to waste time on rules that don't make sense. Life is too full to not find anything to laugh at, especially yourself. We're very funny, you know, us human beings. And life is way, 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 way too full to not find a reason to smile. So today, what did you learn? We're just going to review it a bit. What you learned is you learned that you could really make this life, this summer, this ever, really, really the best. Now, making this summer the best is really untrue because you have lots of summers to come. You have many, many, many summers as you get older and wiser every single day, and practice. Practice at getting out of bed in the morning and thinking the best feeling thought you can. When you think the best feeling thought you can, then remember law of attraction, which is the matcher, is going to match more and more and more of those better feelings. Go into the bathroom and look in the mirror and say at yourself, I really love you. I really love, love, love you. And this is how to do it successfully. If you're not convinced still that you're in your second half of life and that it's just too unknown for you, too shaky for you, that you don't know how it's going to turn out, well, guess what? You never know how it's going to turn out. It's always a great mystery. So embrace that great mystery. Think of it as a great discovery of expectancy, of uncovering something new, something great, something wonderful. And most of all, best of all, to get the kind of results you want, smile. Smile a lot. Nobody can resist a smile. And the health benefits will come. Law of attraction will bring you friendly, wonderful things. And it is truly, truly a life of discovery. So I'm signing off for today. This is Sandra Longmore, and I'm so happy you're here. Check me out on Facebook, LinkedIn, all the social media. Go to my internet site, sandralongmore.com. And actually, I'm making up a new internet site where I'm going to put all the videos and all my iTunes, my audios on one site. Plus, I'm going to start a new Hangout, and it's called Hangout with Sandra, where you can be my guest. So I would love it if you contacted me and wanted to be a guest on my show. And I'm soon going to be having that, and I'm making up a list right now of my very special guests. So if you are in the second half of life, or if you have something that you would really, really like to share with an audience, email me at sandralongmore at sandralongmore.com. So bye for now. Did it twice. It is still live. I didn't stop it. Yeah, okay. We're going to stop it now. Stop.